Hello and welcome to the latest Craftmania Sunday Showcase. Today I'm going to share with you a few of my favourite techniques that you can do with peel-offs. Now I know a lot of you don't like peel-offs because they're sort of a little bit old-fashioned, and I know some of you think they're a bit tacky. But our first technique I'm going to show you is this one here. Believe it or not, this has actually been created using a peel-off. In the middle I've done an ordinary stamp in just black ink, but this background piece has actually been done with a peel-off. So all I'm using for this one is our sheet of flat gold peel-offs of our oval borders. And I'm just going to peel this one off here and stick it onto a piece of card. Now this is just our ordinary white stamping card. Now this idea came to us last year when we were doing one of our lessons, that if you want to actually use a peel-off instead of actually as the feature, but more as a stencil, you can. So I'm going to use my Cosmic Shimmer Colour Cloud inks here, and I'm just going across the top of the peel-off to colour the whole thing in to get our nice purpley background. And then I'm going to bring in our blue colour and just go across the top. Bringing back the purple one to just blend it all together so you get a little bit of shading. And then when you're happy with the effect you've created, you can play about with this as much as you like. You can then just remove the peel off from the top, and where it's been should all be nicely masked off. Now normally you'd leave that to dry for a moment so the ink isn't still wet, but as you can see that gives you quite a nice effect and not exactly a million miles away from the one I've already created. Not only can you do this with our frames like this one, you can also do it with text, like on here. Our Happy Father's Day for this card is actually the card we did last year when we discovered this technique. So it's quite a nice way to get text that blends in with the idea of the card without standing out too much, because sometimes peel-offs can just look a little bit too heavy or out of place. Again, this is a great way to make up backgrounds. So this piece here I've got, same technique again, but instead of using the borders or the corners or the frames, I've just used large butterflies instead. Now obviously the good bit with this is it doesn't matter what colour this sheet is, because of you're actually just going to remove the bit you've done. You can of course store them safely, so you can use them multiple times as well, but it's much cheaper than buying a multitude of stencils. So it's quite a nice little technique, that one. Now going back to actual techniques you can do with the peel-offs themselves, to use them as they are. This is one of my favourites. This is a rose corner I'm going to be showing you next. Now these ones we've just layered up. Now this technique is similar for a lot of the ones I'm going to show you today. It's ever so simple to do. We're just going to foam pad together layers to give a more dimensional effect. Now one of the good things with our peel-offs is you can, of course, if you wish to be a little bit more frugal, you can peel them off and stick them onto acetate and then cut round them to get your effect. Or like this one here, you can actually stick them back to back. They'll give you a mirrored image, so instead of having to cut them out, it's as simple as sticking one to the back of the other, which is quite nice. It's quite nice to have a little cut through so you don't have to faff about too much. So that's now protected, so it's not sticky anymore, it's all covered. And then all I'm going to do is just take my scissors and remove the bits I don't want. So that's going to be my first base layer, heading for this effect. First base layer, then the next one all I've done is just trimmed off the leaves, and then with this last one we're just going to go in and cut out our rose head just a little bit smaller. So we're just going to go around there and take that bit off. Around that bit, and then all we're going to do is just layer these three together. Now as you can see on the example I've got, I've actually done this using different colours, which is quite a nice effect. But if you do want to stick to one shade, you can. Now I'm showing you these with the glitter peel-offs, but we also do these in a multitude of flat colours, we refer to them as. Like our frame I did our stenciling with a moment ago. That's a flat colour, that's our gold flat colour. But they also tend to come in white and black and a few other lower shades like coppers as well, which are quite nice if you don't like the glittery effect. So that's our first way of doing that one. You can, of course, as I say, it's a little bit more frugal if you stick it onto acetate or onto card perhaps. So with this one I've actually stuck it onto card, But how I've done this one is I've used these. Same peel-offs again, but this is a clear glitter, which basically means whatever colour you stick underneath it is the colour that will come through. So instead of just sticking it onto plain card or onto acetate, I've actually used this card, which you may have seen in store before. They're lovely rainbow sheets of card, giving you nice variegated colours. So if you stick that underneath your peel-offs, and then when you cut them and layer them up, you're going to get a nice corresponding colour scheme going on. Okay, so that's our lovely rose corners. So we'll pop them ones to one side for a moment. Now, as you can see here, I've laid out just a few of the colours that they come in, but with all of the stickers I show you today, they come in loads of colours. So you are best off popping in store and having a little look at the full selection. Moving back up here, we have some butterfly ones. Now the butterflies, you may notice here, I've got these as a 3D butterfly. Again, a really nice, easy technique to do that's been around for many years, and not one I created, but one I'm going to show you how to do. So for this technique, you can do this with anything that's symmetrical, but we're going to start off just by taking our purple butterflies here, picking this one off the top. Then we want the one from the sheet below and the one from the sheet below that. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So you've got 3 identical butterflies. What we're going to do with these is we're going to take our first one and fold it in half. Now you can use this either like on the edge of a nail, or you can stick it to the side of the table, whatever you prefer as you work with these. And then you're going to take your next one and fold that in half. And then you're going to take your first one and your second one that you've done and literally layer that sticky bit to sticky bit so that they are attached. But you've still got 2 sides that are sticky, one from each one. Then you take your third butterfly and fold that one in half. And then with that one, we just attach it to one of the sides. So now you have all 3 joined together. So that was butterfly 1 over this side, butterfly 2 in the middle, and butterfly 3 on the edge. And you now have a sticky butterfly. I tend to cut the antennas off of these and either draw them on underneath or stick a 4th one on the bottom. But that way you've got a nice 3D butterfly. That again is really good because if you post it, it will go down flat, but the minute it comes out of its envelope, it will spring back up and give you a bit more life for your card as well. So they're quite a good post one as well. Okay, so that's our 3D butterflies. You can see on my little sample sheets we've done here that you can do them with all the different sizes. And as I say, anything that's symmetrical, if you could find wedding bells or just about anything really, butterflies, any other animals, any shapes that are symmetrical, that will work the same way. We were doing something in one of our lessons last week with bird cages. Admittedly that was a die, but the same idea. We do fans and bird cages, things like that in these, so again you could do that. Then we'll move over here to another one of my favourites. These ones are ribbon sliders. Now ribbon sliders can be quite expensive, but with these ones all we do is just stick them back to back, the same as we did our rose corners a little while ago, and then thread them through your ribbon and you've got a nifty little ribbon slider. So you're getting a whole sheet of them, you get loads of them, great for wedding invitations and things like that. And they also have these nice little markings on them, which are great if you want to put some extra diamantes on them to really bling them up and make them look like the more expensive ones. Again, available in loads of different colours. So moving right the way to the back here, we have some dragonflies. Now with these, unlike the butterflies where we did our 3D trick, with these, all I've done is just stuck these onto acetate, cut out the wings and layered them up. Acetate is quite good to use for this. It's a little bit more expensive than card, but the good bit with acetate and peel-offs is if you're not too exact at your cutting, it doesn't matter because it's transparent and you'll see through it, so you don't have to be too precise. So that's our layered dragonflies at the back here. Again, as I say, loads of different colours available in them ones too. And then we'll move on to showing you some flowers. Now again, the flowers are a little bit like the roses. These are a really nifty one to use. Because of the sheets, again, give you the same designs in a symmetrical fashion. Ever so easy to just take them and layer them back to back. So we'll take that one and we'll take this one off that one. And again, just stick them back to back. And then you can take the next size down And again, you could also buy 2 of the same colour sheet, but for this effect, I thought I would show you how they go together quite nicely. And then we'll take off our last one. And again, as you can probably see, there's lots of different shapes for these flowers. So you can get lots of different effects. So there's our 3, and then all I'm going to do is just stick a couple of foam pads in between them. So hopefully this is giving you a few ideas of what you could do with your peel-offs, just to get a few different effects. As I say, they've been sort of classed as out of fashion a little bit in the craft world for the last couple of years, but I think they're still a great way to get some great effects. So that's our little nifty flower, and as you see I did that in just a few seconds. Imagine a scrapbook page filled full of them, or a 3D project covered in them maybe, or of course your cards, equally the same. But with sheets like this, 2 sheets, look how many flowers you could have. You've got loads coming off of them, so they're incredibly good value. And you also get lots of these little dots in the middle of them that I'll tell you a little bit more about later when we get to the other end of the table, but they're great as well. Then we'll move across here to this side. Now this is a different technique again. I'm going to show you these lovely peel-offs. These are great for layering in different colours. So if you have a little look at my examples down the bottom here, you're going to see that I've layered 2 different colours. And again, a really easy technique to do. You just peel off your first sticker, taking it all the way off, stick that on your piece of card, and then pick up another colour. Doesn't matter which one. Let's go for this nice silver one. I'm going to take the sticker off to begin with. And you can just store this to one side just for a minute. The good bit is there's no waste with this. It will come off and you can use it again and again, but we'll just stick that to the edge of our table. And then just take a pokey tool. Now this is a bit time consuming, but a really good effect. And then just peel out the bits that you would normally class as the waste. And then just lower them into the same place on your empty one. And the more of them you do, the quickly you'll see the scene sort of builds up and gives you a nice effect. So I don't want to bore you by making you watch me do all of this, so I'll show you this one that we did earlier. Again, like our examples, but this time we just did both of them and layered them up. Again, this is showing you the flat colours, just to remind you that these all do come in the flat colours too. So if glitter isn't your thing, we have got the same plain colours too. Moving on, I'll show you our cogs, because Father's Day is coming up. So here we've done exactly the same thing with our cogs at the bottom. Literally just taken off one and then layered in the empty bits from the last one into the middles. And this is just a before one, showing you before we put the second colours in. Again, these ones come in them really nice ones that if you put a colour under them, it'll give you that same shade through, which is a nice way to get quite a subtle effect that'll match in with your card. And then keeping with the Father's Day theme, we will move to the back here, where we've done very similar techniques with a few of our different shirt peel-offs. So again, we've just layered them onto acetate, cut them out and popped them on top, just to give us a bit of dimension. With the ties, for instance, here, instead of actually keeping the ties as a complete, all we've done is just cut out different sections off of the different colours and layered them on top, just so you get different designs. Again, your sheets come with lots of images on them, so they're quite good value. And again, they come in lots of different colours. And of course, you've got the untucked shirt or the folded shirt to choose from with them. Moving away from Father's Day a little, at the back here, we've got a few arches, which are quite nifty. These ones actually come up and build into an arch, which is lovely bride and groom one, or just a nice floral design. You could even do it all the way around and turn it into an oval, depending on the size of your card. And then the little flowers we've just trimmed off of the excess bits. You may see these come in the middle. Nothing is wasted with a peel off. That's one of the best bits about it. So these lovely little flowers that they've just popped on here, if you just cut the heads off of them, they will layer nicely on top of your arch to give you a bit more depth and dimension. And again, if you trade in different colours, like we have here with the black and the silver, or there with the champagne and the red, it just gives you a nice different effect. So moving on to our last couple of items, down the end here we have our peel off dots. Now if you haven't seen these before and you're a bit of a bling lover, these are brilliant. because of you're getting all different sizes on this one at the bottom. So they're great as well if you're doing candy dots and you've got the holes that are too small for them, because they just peel straight off and go in. And we also do them where you get one size on a sheet. And I don't know how well the camera will pick this up, but the nifty bit with these is that they actually have like a nice little design running around the outside of them, of little like dots embedded in them. So it just gives them a little bit more of a design flair. Again, lots of different colours, so anything you want to complement with your colour scheme, these would work. And again, we've got the clear ones so that the colour will come through underneath them. So moving on to our very last peel-offs that I'm going to show you today. These are quite a nice idea. These are basically clear windows. So they come with glitter in them as well, which is again like the clear ones. You'll see through it, but it will give you a nice glittery finish underneath it or on top of it. So good for putting under over the top of banners and bits. So this is just a little stamped image I've done and put over the top. So it's nice for little sentiments. Or of course, if you wanted to sandwich two things in between the two clear ones, you could, if you wanted to put like a dried flower effect in between them and put it over an aperture maybe, that might be quite nice. Or just put things underneath them. Again, good for scrapbooking to highlight different elements on photos. But these come in circles, squares, arches and rectangles. And they come with a silver edge, a gold edge, and then they come with the glitters as well. So that's sort of our 101 ideas for peel-offs in 5 minutes. Hope you enjoyed it. Of course, this is a Sunday showcase, so there is of course a fantastic offer with these. For this week only, we are offering you 20% off of all of our peel-offs. Now, bearing in mind that we actually stock over 19,000 designs, that's an awful lot of peel-offs that you could stock up on. We also do a wonderful offer whereby if you buy 50 sheets, any 50, doesn't matter if they're the flat colours or the glitter colours, you get them for only $29.99. Again, you'll get 20% off that as well. So that will make them $23.99 for 50 sheets. That's a proper little bargain. This is, of course, only valid until 5 PM, Saturday the 11th of June. So if you do want to get in with them, get in quickly. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I look forward to seeing you all next week when we have another showcase showing off a different product. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.